For 35 years, Anne Frank House, D.C. has provided safe and stable housing to formerly homeless individuals who struggle with mental illness or other chronic disabilities. At a recent gathering, Executive Director Pam Mendelson interviewed our newest resident about the impact of supportive housing on his sense of security, self-reliance, and belonging in the community.
I'd like to ask Barrington Simmons to stand with me and share about his life experience.
I fell into the drug problem of that part. I was an addict for a while, and then I, got myself together through programs and going to NAAA meetings. And I met a young lady that I was with for 25 years. On 2016, she died of cancer on Thanksgiving morning. And she had a son, and she asked me to look out for him. So we tried to keep the house that she had over there in Southeast on W Street. One day we got a knock at the door, and it was the marshals. They was evicting us out the house. But they was good enough to say, well, we're gonna give you 10 days to get y'all stuff out. I wound up going to a men's shelter on St. Elizabeth ground. And from that shelter, I went to another shelter, and from the shelter, I went underneath the 11th Street Bridge to sleep and live, because in the shelters, it could be real rough. They sleeping between a friend of mine's van on the street, going to another men's shelter, in and out, and going to vacant houses, or anywhere that I could lay my head at for the night. I always kept a backpack and some cardboard so I could sleep on, because it's kind of hard on being on the ground. And I just prayed and say one day I just hope it gets better. And how I got to be in the Anne Frank house is that I was helping one day residents move from an apartment that was on the 4th floor to the 1st floor. And I met one of their case managers. She said, we trying to open up a new program with some houses. Would you be interested? And I said, oh my Lord, would I be interested? when can I get in? But all of a sudden, she said, be at this address at certain time, and you got to be on time. And I got there, and I met Miss Sheila Myers and another gentleman, and they walked me up to the escalator to the door, and looked down the hall. It was a ribbon on the door. It said, welcome home. And, I sat there. After they left, I cried so much. Said, well, it was a good cry. By being in the Anne Frank residence, I done got to see my family members again. They found coming around, or even had me coming around, because one of my grandsons had moved up the street from me on Wisconsin Avenue in Newark, and he's 22 years old. This is his first apartment. And I got a phone call from him the other day, and this is another great feeling. And I know God is working with me. He said, Granddaddy, I'm having Thanksgiving dinner at the house. Could you please come and bless the table for me? But I'm just so grateful for this program here. And I just tell everybody, it's a wonderful program, and I just hope they keep the good work up and help more homeless people that's out there.
If you enjoyed the feeling when you came to your front door for the first time, I can just share a tiny bit of that feeling in knowing that I personally and the others that I volunteer with had a part in making that happen. There's never been anything that felt so good for us. And now the question is, can we do more of it?
The volunteers at Anne Frank House believe that private citizens can provide comfort, caring, and community for people who would otherwise be on the streets, in temporary shelters, or other uncertain housing. In 2022, the Board of Directors adopted a strategic plan to professionalize our operations and grow from 12 to 20 residents by 2030.